The last scheduled roulette is here on Sunday Scaries with Bucks McGee. How does it feel? We made this official. This used to just be like a road trip talk for us.
Yeah, literally. It's like it's hard to believe we've gone through so many. It's like, oh, this is it. And then, you got the Hall of Fame game coming up. It's like we're here. We're ready to go.
That's right. And we're gonna do a little. We're gonna try to do a little something special on Thursday for that. Tease the folks out in the audience for that.
Ooh.
So it is the last division, and we saved potentially the best for last because there's a serious Super Bowl contender in this one,
Mm-hmm.
and that is the NFC North. So we'll do a quick little recap from last year to refresh everyone's memories. Detroit ran through this one. I mean, I guess they kind of had a weird little bumpy stretch at some point, but they finished out 12-5. They obviously ran all the way into the championship game, and really through no fault of anyone on the fields, kind of choked their opportunity to go to the Super Bowl away on that one. So, for all intents and purposes, and this has a secondary that really was not that great. So, really, for all intents and purposes, this team could have been hosting the Lombardi Trophy last season, even with the few faults that they had.
Oh, definitely, no doubt about it. Like you said, the secondary was the sticking point, and they've definitely upgraded this year for sure.
And Green Bay, they got up. They were off to, I don't want to necessarily say a slow start, but an inconsistent start. They
Mm-hmm.
turned it on and got hot at the right time. Finished out 9-8, barely got in. They got to the second round before they fell to the Niners. So obviously, there's a lot more promise there with Jordan Love being in his second full season. Now he's gone through the rigors of a regular season. He's fresh off a new contract. Uh, so I mean, certainly there's some expectations from that point perspective as well.
Oh no, he needs to be the man. You got paid, and now you've got to be the man. There's no more of this. Oh, maybe next year you're technically the highest paid in the league. Now you got to play like it.
Get paid now, produce.
That's it. Now welcome.
And 2 7-10 teams that kind of were two very different 7-10s. The Vikings got off to, I think if memory serves, a very horrible start. Got back into it. Cousins got hurt, and then the wheels fell off. The
Mm-hmm.
Bears got off to a atrocious start. Everyone's calling for Eberflus's head, and then they turn around, wind up saving his job, finish out the season very strong. I think they didn't get eliminated from playoff contention until the last 2 weeks, or maybe
Mm-hmm.
the week in between the last week, something like that.
Yeah, they were in it to the end. They turned it around, and like everybody kind of knew what the writing was on the wall. They knew that Fields was going to be gone. So now you've got Caleb Williams, and now is he the guy? Is he going to take your team to the next step?
Yeah. So before we get into the nitty gritty, the few games we actually have to pick, I mean, it's pretty much all just divisional games at this point. Uh, but of these four teams, what do you think is the biggest storyline in this division for this season?
The biggest storyline. Wow. It's easy to say, all right, Detroit, do they take that next step? Do they are now the hunted. They were the hunters. Now the feel good story about, Detroit's been all these years. Now it's Super Bowl or bust. They've reached that point. But I think it could be more of Chicago because there are a lot of people are, saying Chicago's a possible playoff team. They could go on a run. Is Caleb Williams the missing piece?
Yeah, and normally the missing piece when the argument comes to a quarterback is a veteran quarterback coming into a team that's already good to go all over the
Mm-hmm.
map. It's not usually a rookie.
No, exactly. Like they have the pieces around him. Like they're a solid team. That defense really picked it up last year and will probably be a solid defensive unit this year. But it's going to be how fast does Caleb catch on, and are we going to be looking, 10 games in and they're 4-6, 3-7, and we're like, oh, it's that whole rookie wall thing. He's going to have to wait another year to see what happens. So I think Chicago is the interesting one.
Yeah. So speaking of that, obviously this is our last schedule roulette, so we pretty much picked everything other than this particular division. So let's
Mm-hmm.
go over the handicaps we've set on everybody. Minnesota Vikings fans, they may not be very happy with you because we're pegging them at a 2-9 record. Ouch.
Well, let's be realistic. We don't know what the quarterback situation is going to be. Everyone's talking about how Sam Darnold's looking good in camp and such, and that's great. That's Sam Darnold, the same Sam Darnold who saw ghosts and other things and with the Jets. So I don't know. He was decent, in San Fran. So maybe this is his year. Maybe this becomes his team. We don't know if JJ McCarthy's gonna outshine him in camp and become the guy. So quarterback position is really tough. Defense is older. They've signed some pieces, but it's all going to come down to what the quarterback produces.
And we've got a pair of 7-4s. One is the Packers. You figure, okay, that's a decent handicap to go through the rest of these. And it's a few games over 500. They were 9-8 last year. Expected good things, so that's probably fair for them. Here's the surprise. We also have the Bears at 7-4. So inadvertently, you're a little high on the Bears, I guess.
I don't know why, man. Just bad pick. I don't know, man. I don't know. Like I said, they have talent. Like there's talent there. Offensively, defensively, the key is going to be Caleb Williams. That's just what it comes down to. If he can perform and he's not a lot is put on his shoulders, yeah, that's a legit schedule so far for him. It's a legit record. But if they try to throw him out there and you're the guy, win it for us, I don't know if he's ready for that yet. We'll find out.
Yeah, and then just having done a quick scan of the opponents, their strength of schedule is not very high. So Caleb would really have to be a total bust for them not to.
Yeah, and like I said, they're going to hang the hat on that defense. That defense is going to play well and give them opportunities, probably great field position. And Caleb, they're probably going to be run first and then slowly acclimate him. He could be the first Bears quarterback ever to throw for 4,000 yards. No Bears quarterback has ever thrown for 4,000 yards.
Which is crazy to me.
Yeah, if you really look, they had Jay Cutler. You would have figured Jay Cutler would have done it.
I know.
But no. So, he could be what they need. It's just going to be not funny. It's going to be interesting to see how he develops through the season.
It's actually sad when Jay Cutler is probably the most prolific quarterback in history.
Poor Jay Cutler. He was like a gunslinger, and he just didn't have it, man. I don't know.
And the Detroit Lions Motown faithful is definitely hoping we are not the kiss of death, because we pegged them based on the other shows at 11-0. So we were talking the other shows like, okay, you're high on San Francisco, you're high on Houston. Those teams didn't get 11-0 record coming into our schedule roulette.
Wow. Like, honestly, I look at the NFC and I honestly feel they may be the most complete team. Like, really, like the Niners have their issues. Brock Purdy needs to be the guy. This year they got to let him do it this year. You don't know what the situation with Ayuk. Philly, it's a new team. Let's be honest about it. Kelsey isn't there anymore, so he was the stalwart of that offense. You've got Saquon there, but it all comes down to Jalen Hurts. Is he going to do anything? So, and I'm not 100% sold on the Packers yet. They're going to be good, but I don't think they're going to be there in the end. I still think they have another year or so. So, the Lions to me are the team.
So, we have them starting off
Mm-hmm.
with 5 straight wins. Well, I should say at least 5 straight wins.
Okay.
At home on Sunday night against the Rams. At home versus your Bucks. In
a closely fought game.
A closely fought game.
Sorry, continue.
On the road against the Cardinals. At home with extra rest on Monday night against the Seahawks. An early bye. Schedule makers were not very favorable to the Lions, a Week 5 bye.
Yeah, that hurts a little bit. We've talked about it. I'm not a fan of that Week 4, Week 5 bye mumbo jumbo, but you gotta take what you take.
And coming out of the bye well refreshed, winning on the road on the Star in Dallas. So that's the first 5 games, 5 wins. First divisional game on the road in Minnesota. What you got?
Yeah. All right. There you go.
Oh, a slip up.
No. They're beating
Oh,
Minnesota. They're beating
no.
Minnesota. They're beating Minnesota. Come on, man. Really? Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't see Sam Darnold taking down the Lions. I really don't.
Well, they followed that up with a home win against the Titans. Here they are, 7-0, going into Lambeau Field.
I'll give you a slip up here. I'll give you a slip up.
First
I don't know if
loss.
they could. Yeah, I don't know if a team's going 10 or 11-0 this year. So yeah, I could see it. Early buy and all that. Yeah, this could be a slip.
Back on the winning stretch with 3 straight on the road and Sunday night in Houston. Obviously, a potential Super Bowl matchup. Back home over the Jags, on the road in Indy. So then we go, and then we brings us to Thanksgiving. The Lions, obviously, usually typically start off the Thanksgiving slate. So earlier start to normal at 12:30, and they're playing the Bears.
Ooh. Oh man, the Bears defense is solid. I'm gonna take the Bears.
Whoa, okay.
I'm gonna take the Bears. I'll give the Bears. Like I said, the Bears have talent. So no team is impervious to perfection. So I'm gonna give it to the Bears.
They follow that up. Normally a Thursday game is a shorter week, but since Thanksgiving obviously is a Thursday, it's regular rest. And they're home facing the Packers. Are the Packers?
The Packers?
Yeah.
Oh, they're splitting. It's a split, so they get so they'll get the win.
And they follow that up with another win at home against the Bills. Obviously, people probably thought this would be a Super Bowl matchup, but probably not off the offseason the Bills had.
Yeah, not gonna happen. Even though they won't be in the penthouse, this year. But yeah, I don't think it's happening.
Here's the other Bears game. They're going out to the Windy City on this one.
All right. So I had them losing before. I got them winning here.
Okay. And losing at home on Thanksgiving.
It's the NFL, man. Things are getting crazy.
Following that up, this would complete a 4-game winning streak off that Thanksgiving loss. Mm-hmm. They beat the Niners with extra rest on Monday night, and then a short-ish week to close out the season against the Vikings at home.
They beat the Vikings.
Sweet.
Yeah, by that point it's J.J. McCarthy, and I'm sure there'll be some points in that game where you'll see a little positivity from J.J. But no, at this point, unless it's to the point where the Lions have sewn up the number 1, you may see some backups. So that, with a grain of salt, I'm picking the Lions, and I'm picking the Lions that they need the game. For some reason, they still are playing the starters for the most part. But if they've already sewn up the number 1 seed, Vikings might pull it out.
Well, to that point, that's only 2 losses we've given them. So that out of 17 games, obviously that's 15-2, and that will get them the number 1 seed based on the results from our other roulettes.
So they could end up 14-3.
Okay.
They could lose that last game, depending how they go about it.
Yeah, and we had the Niners pegged at 13-4, so at 14-3, 15-2, they probably will have this division take care of well before this point. But the number 1 seed may or may not necessarily be sewn up.
True. I like it.
Now the Packers, we had that split, so we have them at 8-5 now. To recap, they lose the Brazil game to the Eagles. They rebound with wins over at home against the Colts in their home opener, and then on the road in Tennessee. And now they get their first Vikings game. This one's at home.
Playing the Vikings first game against the Vikes. I'm going to give it to the Vikings.
Wow. Okay.
I'll give the Vikings that one. I think it'll be one of those things where the Vikings surprise some people. I think Green Bay is going to be up and down a bit, but I'm going to give the Vikings this one.
The that sets up a back-to-back loss then on the road to the Rams. So a little bit of a shaky start here for the Packers, but they rip off 4 straight wins for the bye. 2 at home to the Cardinals and Houston, on the road in Jacksonville, and then that split win at home against the Lions. So we're looking at 6-3 going to the bye.
That's solid. I think it works. It's going to be, like I said, they're still a young team. The wide receivers have to stay healthy. Christian Watson, he's always hurt. It seems like every other week. So it's going to be interesting. The run game is going to be interesting to see with no Aaron Jones there. So that'll be interesting, even though Josh Jacobs, has shown a little bit of injury bug as well. So we'll find out.
Out of the bye, they head on the road to the Windy City against the Bears.
They take the first one. I'm giving them the win.
Oh, well, that's very interesting, as you'll find out when the other game is against the Bears.
Man, I'm messing this up, man. Jeez Louise, can't it just be simple? Jeez.
Following that off, actually, we have them taking 3 straight losses. At home to the Niners, at home to the Dolphins on Thanksgiving, and on the road. And same situation going on here that we had with the Lions, where they play on Thursday, but it's actually normal week's rest because of Thanksgiving. That's the loss to the Lions. So you have 3 straight losses: Niners, Dolphins, and Lions. 2 of the 3 at home. So then that is on the road. They get back on their winning ways in Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
And then a Monday nighter. So that's a little bit of extra rest from Thursday to Sunday. And then a little bit of extra rest again from Sunday to Monday night. They beat your hated Saints.
As long as they handle the business, I get go Pack.
Next up, we have the other Vikings game. This one's on the road.
I had them winning the first one, right?
You had them losing.
Losing up them. This is where they pick up some momentum. They're taking the Vikes out there. There you go.
Some steam. And then, of course, they end the season. Here's where the comeuppance comes back around, because now they close the season at home against the Bears.
And I had them beating the Bears first meeting, right? Oh, well, nothing's ever easy, so you're taking the loss. Sorry.
Wow. Split. Okay. So that means we added a 3-3 divisional record, which obviously is not great for them, and that pegs them at 10-7.
Okay, 10-7. Still.
However, that does make things a little cleaner in our playoff standings. So.
See, and that's what I'm about. I'm about making sure that the playoff picture is clean and concise and ready to go, folks. That's what I do.
I want to take a brief moment to shout out our early commenters. Funny little comment here from the Nomad.
There you go. That's right.
And my main man Chris up in Canada off the 10. Apparently I'm getting light shine down me a little bit. I'll try not to let the ego get
It's truth right there. There it is, right there. Truth.
Give me my gold medal. Anyway, hopping back on it with Minnesota. So we've tacked on 1-3 so far. So that takes them to 5-12.
Okay, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Like that's.
So they start off the season with 3 losses on the road against the Giants. At home, back-to-back home games, Niners and Texans. So obviously those are 2 superior teams. Can't be too surprised there. We have the upset win on the road against the Packers to get them in the left-hand column.
There you go.
And then a loss in London to the Jets. So 1-4 going into a fairly early bye. I mean, this is a rebuilding team. I guess it can't be that big of a
You just don't. The quarterback situation's rough. Yeah, you got Jay Jettas. You have there's pieces there, but it's the quarterback situation. Like if Sam Darnold starts off slow and just falls apart, are you throwing JJ in there? Or are you going to say, you know what? Nope, we're going to take our time. Sam, you're going to take the lumps, and then when we feel ready, bring in JJ? That's the question, because this is supposed to be, in theory, your franchise guy. You're not just going to throw him to the wolves, because we've seen in the past what's happened to people like that.
Yeah. Well, there was in that situation's defense, there was no other way to go. We just did not do anything to build up the rest of the team around.
Or you could, look back on the Texans when they had, the older Carr brother, David Carr, the elder Carr who took like 78 sacks that year and just was never the same.
The Carr with a few more miles on it.
Oh yeah, that man put on some miles real quick.
Out of the bye, they take another L at home to the Lions, and then they surprise the Rams on a short week on the road. There's a win. Back-to-back losses at home to the Colts, on the road in Jacksonville. They get a win on the road in Tennessee, and here's the first Bears game. This one's on the road.
The Bears. The Bears.
Take my tallies here. Well, that sets up at least 3 losses in a row, because we have them dropping two straight at home to Arizona and to the Falcons in the Kirk Cousins rematch.
Maybe they can do something against the Falcons, but I don't think it's happening.
Yeah. And then here's the other Bears games. They get a little bit of extra rest here since it is on Monday night.
I'll give the Vikings a win. Gotta give them something, You never know. Like I said, the Bears, could be struggling offensively. Maybe somehow they piece something together.
And that sets up 3 straight losses to close the season, on the road against Seattle, at home to the Packers in their home finale, and then on the road in Detroit. So we've added 2 and 4. That's 4 and 13 for the lowly Vikings.
All right. Well, here's hoping that my +2, -2 works in their favor and gets them 6 wins.
Actually, I don't even think that's the worst record we've doled out.
Yeah, it might not have been.
The Titans come to mind.
Oh yeah. Sorry, guys.
The Giants, maybe. Although I think he tacked on a few on the Giants.
Yeah, well, the Giants deserve that. They can't run an organization.
So we've actually now run through all the Bears games.
Mm-hmm.
And we've added 3 and 3, so that takes them to 10 and 7 as well. So maybe our wild card picture doesn't get all that more clear. So just to run through everything, beat Tennessee at home in Caleb's debut. They drop one on the road to Houston. They win on the road at Indy. They lose to the Rams at home. They beat the Panthers at home. They lose to the Jags in the UK. That's 3 and 3 going to the bye. How do you like 3 and 3 for Caleb's debut season?
I don't think it's decent. Like I said, wow. I'm sure Bears fans don't love it. We would like maybe like a 4 and 2, 5 and 1, but I don't know. Like I said, I think he's going to struggle early, and then he's going to catch his footing. Like he's going to have that one game where maybe it just everything clicks in, and then he's ready to go. So it's 500 ball. You take it where you can. 300 ball, it's all right.
Coming out of the bye, loss on the road to Washington. Back-to-back wins, one on the road against the Cardinals.
There you go.
At home against the Patriots. They drop one at home to the Packers. They win at home against the Vikings. They have that surprise short week upset on Thanksgiving against the Lions. And here's a slip up you gave the Niners. Bears beating the Niners on the road late in the season.
Because like I said, the Niners right now, I don't think they're a lock for the best of the NFC. Let's be honest, they've got issues there, and Brock Purdy needs to be the guy. So these could be the holes, could be the holes that fall apart.
back-to-back losses off of that, so maybe they rested high in their laurels a little too much. One's on the road in Minnesota. That's with extra rest on a Monday, and then at home to the Lions. However, they close out the season strong. Another short week win against the Seahawks on Thursday, and then closing out the season with a dub over the Packers, TBD, obviously week 18. But that strong finish could actually save them because, as we said, that takes them to 10-7, and that will tie them with Green Bay for a wild card spot. But
they're in the mix.
No, Adventure Nomad, not your bad. This is a multifaceted channel.
Everything's included. We touch on it all. We touch on it all.
So, people may be wondering if they've watched the past shows. You think like, hey, Nutmeg Bucks. This show's only about half over. We've already gone through the schedules. What's the deal? Well, that's a little bit by design, folks, because this is the last schedule roulette. So now we've got a record penciled in for everyone in both conferences. So we got to talk a little playoff action and how we kind of think our picks set up the playoffs. Does it make sense? Does it not make sense? And, some prognosticating matchups.
Oh, man, here we go. Oh, geez.
So let's start with the NFC since we're here and we just did the last NFC division. So we have the Lions pegged at 15-2.
Mm-hmm.
We had the Niners pegged at 13-4.
Mm-hmm.
Your Bucks at 12-5. We have a tie here, so it could be either one of these. Dallas and Philly at 11-6. So
Okay.
So really, I guess could be the tiebreakers of who actually gets that division, who gets the home game. We have a three-way tie here. At first, we had Atlanta in the 6th hole at 10-7, and we had the Saints and the Rams each tied at 9-8. But by virtue of finishing off this division, we now have the Bears and the Packers at 10-7. So we've got 3 teams for the final 2 spots, and we had the Bears and the Packers splitting. So we're going to have a tiebreaker scenario. Of those 3 teams, what would be your gut? Obviously, we can go back through and do the tiebreakers, but tiebreakers obviously are a weird scenario. So we'll just go off the seat of your pants as far as.
So we've got Bears, Packers, and
Atlanta.
I've got to be proper. So basically, so who's the odd man out is who you're asking me?
Yeah.
Wow.
Barring a tie-breaking scenario that maybe we may or may not have covered in previous shows. But obviously, we've got a +2 window on these records, so
right.
It's really more of a gut feel as far as who could get.
My gut says Chicago. My gut says Chicago. Like I just don't know. I just don't know yet.
Okay.
I'd say Chicago, but it wouldn't surprise me if Atlanta falls and just misses.
Yeah.
But I'll say Chicago right now.
Okay.
They'll be in it till the end for sure.
Yeah. Well, hey, you know what? That was kind of the case last year, and then to have this year, obviously the fans are going to get a bit impatient.
Yeah.
But that's actually not the worst thing in the world to have a team rebuilding. And you really had 2 years, one at the end of the rebuild, and one with the rebuild starting up again, with both being playoff contestants. That's going to really set the table for 2025.
No, so I think they're set for success. It's just the quarterback position. What happens? So it's going to be fun to see for sure.
Let's then talk playoff matchups. Obviously, the Lions will get the bye. So we'll have the Niners against the Packers or the Falcons. They don't play each other, of course, so we have no head-to-head tiebreaker. So let's say, who do you have more confidence in, the Packers or the Falcons? If we were just to spitball, who would be the 6 and who would be the 7?
And who we say the 7 is?
Either the Falcons or the Panthers. Not Panthers, excuse me, Packers. Woo! Not the Panthers.
Wow. I'm gonna say the Packers.
Okay.
And I think that's coaching. I think that's where the edge is coaching.
Okay, so we'll say Falcons 7, Niners Falcons. This is our theoretical first-round matchup. How do you like Niners and Falcons? Do you think the Niners are just going to start their revenge train?
I think the Niners defense, I think, is strong enough to kind of bottle that in. And let's be honest, it's Kirk Cousins. We know how he is in the playoffs. and that's not being a Bucks fan and him in the South. Let's be honest. His playoff record is 1-3-4.
Yeah.
He's not good in the playoffs. So I don't know how all of a sudden he just comes to the NFC South with a team that's comparable to what he had in Minnesota, and all of a sudden he's raring to go.
And the other side of that is, well, I don't know, not necessarily the other side of it, but the Falcons, they've been a very woe-begone playoff team since that epic Super Bowl loss. So do you think there's any kind of, all right, don't know, have your moment. I brought
28-3. Woo-hoo! Sorry. Go ahead.
So, you think there's any kind of more, obviously no moral victory in football, but as to the extent that there is, you think there's any moral victory in getting back to the playoffs after the last several years for that franchise?
I think at this point that franchise has had enough turnover where it's the fans are the ones that harbor it more than anything. Like Raheem Morris is walking in there. He didn't get smacked from 28-3. So to him, it's like, okay, well that was the past. That's not me. I don't have to worry about that. But I think that team is looking at themselves saying, hey, we've got talent. Why can't we be, one of these, top NFC teams, which everybody, once Cousins signed, everybody basically anointed them the NFC South champs and said, "Oh, they've got Super Bowl aspirations." Well, let's let Kurt win 2 playoff games in a season, and let's see what happens.
Run into the daunting challenge that is the Niners in your first playoff game as a Falcon.
You better stay away from Fred Warner. You better stay away from Fred Warner, Bosa, and the rest of those guys. Like, that defense is still formidable. Yes, there's issues on the offense with Ayuk and all of this, but that defense is still a top 5 defense. Let's be honest. So, you can't slip up against them. And they still have Christian McCaffrey. Like, let's be honest, that team, the Niners are still built. There's issues there, but they're still built very well. So, I don't know if the Falcons are ready to handle that yet.
And that takes us to our 3-6 matchup. So the Falcons obviously pegged at 7, so we'll peg the Packers at 6, going up against your Bucks.
Oh, the Pack. Oh, well, it's A for effort, But no. Like I said, the Pack is young, and I think they really need another year. They've got talent at wide receiver. They're young guys. But I honestly love Tampa's defense. They're built to win now. They've got the best safety in the league in Antoine Winfield Jr. Their corners strong. That defensive line is solid. So I still feel Tampa has enough and will handle the Packers.
Is there anything on the Packers that maybe not necessarily, I don't know, you want to word it as a matchup nightmare, but anything that might be concerning as far as Tampa being able to handle them?
I think what you've got to do is just make sure that you bottle up Jacobs, bottle up the run game, and you force Love to beat you. Since he's the $55 million guy, he's the guy now. So you force him to beat you. So now, and I don't think that he's there yet. I think a team with a solid secondary and a quality D line will say, okay, well, let's see what he can do. So I think you put it on Love and you see what happens.
Before we move on, since we just talked about those 2 teams, do you want to address Ethan's comment here? I mean, obviously we're taking them for proof because we got the Packers 1 game better than last year, and the Falcons actually making the playoffs. We were miserable. So I mean, I guess base level we do agree, and we are having them improved.
But they definitely have improved. But if I have to pick one, I'm taking the Packers over the Falcons because I just don't trust Kirk Cousins. You can't until he proves that he can get a good long stretch into the playoffs. I don't think you can trust him.
The next one, now this is very, very interesting because it's basically the winner-loser of the NFC East. So that is 4-5 between the Dallas and Philly. So, I mean, obviously not going back and really figuring out our tiebreaker scenarios. Who do you think has a better chance of actually winning the division, getting the home game, and then obviously who would have a better chance in the playoffs?
I would take the Eagles just on experience alone. I don't trust Dallas. There's too much there. CD right now they still haven't signed him yet, so who knows what's going to happen. You would hope they would sign him, but he's sitting out, so who knows. And then you got Dak. If they don't sign Dak before the start of the season, I think Dak's gone. I really do. Like at this point, if you feel he's your franchise guy, he should have already had a deal. You're the Cowboys. Your franchise is worth what, $9 billion? It's ridiculous. So you're telling me you can't pay him $57 million a year? If you truly believe in him, then you're going to make him the highest paid. You're going to say, all right, Dak, we trust you. Here it is.
So,
go ahead.
No,
I was going to say if they haven't signed him yet, there's got to be doubt. There has to be doubt there. So what happens there? Is he just going to play out the season and then once it's over, all right, see you later? Someone's going to pay him $60 million. He'll be the $60 million man.
So if we flip Dallas and Philly, that means you went all chalk. So for the second round, we're talking Philly against Detroit and the Niners against Tampa. What do you think about that second round?
Ooh, that's some pretty good football right there. I think the Lions would take Philly. I think the Lions have too much on offense. That two-headed running back tandem is unbelievable. Wide receivers are great, and Goff is legit. Goff is a legit quarterback. Like he went through his bumps with the Rams and such. He's the real deal now. So he's set up. Sam Laporta, like there's just too much. I don't think the Eagles have enough defensively to handle it.
And mind you, that one falter they had last year in their secondary, that's all they addressed in the draft.
Yeah,
so,
that they ended up trading for Carlton Davis from Tampa, who's he's an all or nothing guy, but when he's on, he's legit, no doubt. So yeah, I would take the Lions, and then in the other matchup,
being impartial, of course.
I'll be impartial. You want me to be honest? This is the last year for the Niners. I think if the Niners are going to do it, they have to do it this year.
Okay.
I really do. I don't know if Ayuk is going to be there at the end of the year. Debo's getting older. Like this is it. Like if you need to let Purdy be the guy. You have to find out. You can't protect him anymore. You either let him out there, let him sling it, because you can't sit there and cover him and have it where you've got everyone running small, shorter routes, giving him these little dink and dunks. He's got to be able to rip it, because how many years of McCaffrey are you going to have?
Right.
He's getting older.
Or just gets hurt again.
Yeah, exactly. Like at that point, if he gets hurt, that offense totally changes.
So we'll stop our NFC picks there, but if you're keeping score at home, that means a rematch of the Lions and Niners. So feast your tantalizing taste buds on that.
That kind of hurts, but I have to be impartial.
Kicking back to the AFC.
Oh yeah, this is where it gets good.
Feels like it's been a while since we talked AFC. We've got a three-way tie, 12-5 teams: Baltimore, Kansas City, and Houston. So, you want to not really change anything as far as Kansas City owning the AFC, or Baltimore repeating as number one seed, or Houston being out in front of all their expectations and having a big year to take home field advantage?
I love Baltimore signing King Henry. I think if King Henry is healthy, I think they're dangerous. So I would almost keep it like it was last year. I really do.
Okay, so Baltimore in 1, leave Kansas City in the 2.
Yeah, I would leave them in the 2. I'll give them their respect. I'll give them the 2.
Okay. So the next one, we got a similar situation to the NFC East. We have the Dolphins. We have the Dolphins and the Jets, both at 11-6. Obviously, barring There we go. So who would you, obviously without going back and doing all the tiebreakers, you're really getting into the weeds.
Dolphins and Jets.
Who's your gut bet to actually win this division?
Dolphins and Jets, huh?
Yeah.
Jets, Jets.
Oh, okay. All right.
Well, this is it. This is it for the Jets. Like there's no going back. You guys put it all on Aaron Rodgers. He needs to take you guys deep into the playoffs. There is no, you can't treat it like the Cowboys. Oh, we made it to the division. Oh, woo, hooray for us. No, you need Aaron Rodgers to take you to at least the conference championship for this to be worth the risk that you took.
And at 6, you have my Colts in it, so I think for sure.
You're welcome, sir. You're welcome. Heart and soul there. The rise of AR, man. I'm telling you.
The new and improved NFL's AR, not this Aaron Rodgers on his last.
That's right, not this Aaron Rodgers. You know, we got AR with a little wiggle.
Swag it.
That's right. He's got the Madden sticks. He's got them swiggle sticks right there.
And interesting. Now we gotta pick one because we had a 3-way tie for the 7th spot between the rest of the AFC North, the 9-8. So you got to pick one out of these. Are we going to get Tomlin making it into the playoffs again at barely over 500? Are the Browns going to get back in? Are the Bengals going to get their mojo back? Wow. Who's your gut as far as winning out this 3-way logjam?
My gut, I'm going with Joe Shiesty. With Joe Shiesty. As long as he is healthy and makes it through the season, I'm going Joe Shiesty. I think he gets them in, sneaks them in. I don't trust Deshaun Watson. I don't know what the Browns are going to be offensively. I don't trust it. The run game was okay, even though, Chubb got hurt last year. Then you had Ford who took over and, played well. You just don't know.
Well, and even with a healthy Chubb, you have to think like, can they catch lightning in the bottle twice? Because he got hurt last year. You had the Watson situation. And obviously, you hope and expect Chubb to be back and healthy. But Watson was not a health situation. So that could be a repeat of what happened last year. And even if it doesn't, he's had injuries in the past. So them to catch lightning in the bottle might be a bit of a tall task.
If Watson flips it and becomes the Watson of Houston lore back then Houston, then I could say, all right, Cleveland sneaks in. But as constituted today, I'm taking Joe Shiesty.
So with that, obviously that's a bye for the Ravens. And how do you think about now? Interestingly enough, and this was sold as a leak on release day. We've as playing in week 2, Chiefs and Bengals, Patrick versus Joe. So what do you like in this kind of rematch from week 2, Chiefs and Bengals?
I hate to say it, but I'll take the Chiefs. I think the Bengals' early success against the Chiefs was just what that was. I just feel that the Chiefs at this point now are grizzled vets. Like at this point they've got to cash in on Patrick in his prime. Because let's be honest, and I've thought about this, when Patrick's 32, 33, he's not going to be doing Mahomes things. Like, it's just not going to happen. He's not going to have Travis Kelce. Like, let's be realistic. Like, this team will change dramatically once Patrick hits that 30-year mark. Like, let's be honest. So it's all in and all or nothing now. That defense is still solid. I think it may lack a little bit, but it's Patrick Mahomes, so I'll give Mahomes the edge.
Divisional matchup here at Houston and Indy.
Cincy and Indy?
Houston and Indy.
Oh, Houston. Oh. Wow, Houston. I'm sorry, man. You know what? You guys got in, and you're building. But Houston is scary. Houston really is scary right now. If those guys can better what they did last year, it's unreal.
You know what the scariest part about Houston is the fact that the owners are spending money now.
Yeah.
Before they have to make C.J. Stroud the next highest paid quarterback in NFL history. They're spending money everywhere else now. They're bringing in Diggs. They're bringing in Mixon. Like they're taking advantage of the rules as the NFL sets them.
And that's
terrifying.
And but see, that's the way you've got to do it in today's NFL. If you have yourself a franchise quarterback, that first 4 or 5 years, that contract, it's cheap as all. And if that guy is that great, you surround him with everything you can, and you let him do his thing. Because once that contract comes up, those other guys, they're probably gone.
As if NFL teams needed any more pressure to hit on a first-round quarterback than they did in years past.
It's almost exactly. It's like almost okay. We've got a franchise quarterback. We've got 5 years to get to a Super Bowl and win it. That's what you're sitting there saying. And Houston, like you said, smart. That team is stacked. So you got to go Houston.
5 years to get to a Super Bowl or bust, and that's with knowing that until you're playing until you're playing the Mahomes game and having to restructure every
year. Exactly. And you hear it's recently Mahomes has said, "Oh, I'm not underpaid, blah blah." Yeah, you are, and you know it too. You're just gonna sit there and toe the company line until you don't make the playoffs, or you make the playoffs but you get bounced, and then all of a sudden it's, well, you know what? You need to pay me.
The crazy part is his total contract. Obviously, everyone gets caught up in the guaranteed money because that's all they can really count on, barring injury. The total contract, he still has the only $500 million contract in league history.
Exactly. So then you sit there and say, okay, does he just sit on it and say, okay, well, you know what? Maybe I'll defer a little. I'll take a little less here. I'll move some stuff around so we can sign some guys. Because basically what you've signed are a bunch of speedsters, which is great and all, but they got to be able to make the catches. Like, let's be honest. It'd be different if they had signed a Diggs or even Evans, because there was rumors when Evans was in free agency that he was talking to Kansas City. You get yourself a bona fide number one. You got yourself a bunch of 2s and 3s, and you're hoping that Patrick Mahomes gives you that magic. And of course, Travis Kelce is basically your pseudo number one. Mm-hmm. So you're kind of playing with fire in that sense.
Yeah, and they might have a situation now. Granted, by this point, Kelce will either be retired or at least making significantly less money. Xavier Worthy could be the next Tyreek Hill, but if you can't keep the money nice, you're going to lose him just like you lost Tyreek Hill.
Exactly. So then you've got another 2 and a half years of Mahomes at his prime physically, because that's what it is. Because I'm sorry, he's going to get to 30, 31. He's not going to be, shooting for those first downs like he does now. And then all of a sudden he becomes a pocket passer. Andy Reid might be gone by then. So then who's your coach?
You would think at some point Andy Reid, even if they're coming off a win, you'd be like, all right, can I stop yet? Can I stop now?
Exactly. He may say, okay, I've done it. 3. He walks away. Then who do you bring up? Are you is it going to be Spags?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Great coordinator, but never made it as a head coach.
So this, in theory, could be the end of it. This year could be the start of the end.
Yeah, because no one's won 3 Super Bowls in a row, and no coach has done it either. So really, that would be the perfect way for Andy Reid to retire if he's gonna.
Exactly. And then at that point, you sit there and say, okay, so what happens? And then all of a sudden, do they become just that team that's still an elite team, but not the lock?
And of course, that takes his last one. Are you still going to ride the Jets over the Dolphins in the playoffs?
Taking the Jets, man. Taking the Jets. And if people haven't figured it out by now, I need some team in the AFC to handle this Chiefs mess, because I am done with it. I am done with it. I'm tired of the Mahomes is the GOAT, blah, blah, bull. It's either going to be Aaron Rodgers, Lamar, somebody. The team that takes them out this year, I'm wearing the jersey. There it is. There it is. Come playoff time.
A little bit more of an open-ended jersey bet for you.
Because I can't count on Aaron Rodgers. He done 4 plays in. He did me dirty. So I can't trust on him. So maybe at this point it might be Lamar. I don't mind those Ravens jerseys. Those are nice. I'll get a King Henry. Yeah, man, I'll get a King Henry one. I'm down with that.
I just can't get over the shock value of you rooting for Aaron Rodgers and the Jets to take out another team, whoever that may be. It's just, that does, like, the image of that in my mind is like, Bucks McGee rooting for the Jets and Aaron Rodgers at the same time.
If that is what is needed to end this, then so be it. I am willing to take the hit. I will wear it once. I'm not even gonna put it in the closet. I'm gonna put it in a box and put it somewhere so it doesn't infect anything else I have, and then we move on.
So, for those keeping score at home, we've got a all chalk again going to the second round. Baltimore versus the Jets. What do you like? Here's your jersey bet system for real.
Wow. That Jets defense is sexy. I'm not going to lie. I love that Jets defense. That defense is good. That Jets defense is good. Wow. If you're asking me today, I'm taking the Jets. I love Baltimore, but that Jets defense is just... Last year, they gave up 19 points a game. And Aaron Rodgers, I heard this today. It's not like I did. I'll give credit to Scaries, all those guys out there. Aaron Rodgers is 80-2 when his defense holds somebody to under 20 points. Like, he's good for 20 points on his own. If this defense is on point, I don't, and honestly, I'd put him up against the Chiefs too. This defense, if healthy, can do some damage. You got Sauce, Williams, these guys are legit. So right now, I'm taking the Jets.
And that's under 19 a game with Rodgers getting hurt as early as he did and probably having to be on the field for way too long.
Yeah, they had to run around with the MILF Hunter. And look, they still played great defensively. Offensively, couldn't score a lick, but that defense still did its job. So I'm going to take the Jets right now.
And what's your pick on the first test for the Kansas City 3-peat? Well, I guess it's technically the second test, but the first real one, them playing Houston.
Wow. Woo. This might be a bitter pill to swallow for some people, but I'm taking Houston.
Wow.
Houston.
You're not even going to give Aaron Rodgers the chance to take out the Chiefs.
That's right now. Right now, Houston is Houston's sexy too. They're just built. It's going to be close. It's almost a flip of a coin. Actually, this is what would probably happen. Kansas City would somehow sneak out by the skin of their teeth, and then Aaron Rodgers, in theory, may end it for Mahomes, but I like Houston too. It's just the AFC is stacked so well. Literally every day, you could ask me the same question, and I might find a reason to go the other way. But imagine that: Tom Brady beats Mahomes in the Super Bowl. Aaron Rodgers ends him in the playoffs. It just takes an old man to do it. It just takes an old guy to do it.
Something about that number 12.
There you go. Everyone
Sorry. 8.
Yeah, he's wearing that. He's wearing that 8 mumbo jumbo. Whatever works. It's an even number. It fits in.
So we gotta say goodnight, but at the same time, that means we have a Final Four prediction right now of the Lions, the Niners, the Jets, and the Texans. Very, very interesting potential Super Bowl matchups out of that.
Be the most watched since the Bucks won the Super Bowl. That's it. People get in there. That's quality TV, folks. Quality. It'll only be better if Baker's in there. I'm not saying it won't happen, but
Well, this was the NFC North show, so Bucks and D will take it back to the NFC North. Take us off air with your final thoughts of the Lions apparently set up for a very dominating season.
Well, Detroit fans, you guys wanted it. Now you got it. You were the hunters, and now you're the hunted. So now you got to put up or shut up. You guys got the talent. It's just Dan Campbell can't make some foolish calls on 4th down. And if you guys play it smart, you guys very well could be playing in February. So the rest of you guys in the North, get ready because it's going to be a bumpy ride.